Sorry,
Oh, that's great.
bit noisy.
All right. Well, we will get started here. I'm going to
I bet you're telling it to everybody though.
Well, that's a great way to open it. For everybody, I'm Larry Gifford, and you'll hear from Tim Haig and from Sonia Mather a little bit later. We welcome you to the latest PD Avengers Partners meeting. We do have some new partners here. The Michael J. Fox Foundation has joined us today. Who here from the Fox Foundation? Put your videos on and say hello.
Hi, Larry. It's Christina Magana from the Michael J. Fox Foundation. How's it going?
Good, good. Thanks for coming.
Great to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you guys here. That's great. And I don't believe we have a new partner in Slovenia, and we have a new partner in Romania, and we have new partners in Kenya, and I don't believe they're here, but we are quickly gathering partners around the world, which is exciting. We also are confirming partners in Germany and Italy and somewhere else. So it's an exciting time that's coming fast and furious. So as you can see on the screen here, the numbers continue to grow. We're nearing 3,000 PD Avengers. We have over 50 partners, and so we've got a good almost half of them here today, which is great. And we are representing over 62 different countries with our PD Avengers. So that is really quite amazing. We figured it out this week that our birthday is July 13th. So we're not quite a year old yet, and here we are. So I feel like things are progressing at a good clip. The first thing I wanted to talk to you about is clips. How about that? Video uploads. World Parkinson Day is coming up, and we are our big collaborative effort this year as organizations is we have an unbranded YouTube channel that everybody can participate in, that is just a stream of videos from all of our organizations and just general individuals or organizations around the world. Last night, I think I submitted 25 videos representing 7 different countries. And it's quite amazing. It's if you have additional videos, you can either send them to me, or you can just send them straight to, if you have a YouTube link, send it straight to hello@worldparkinsonsday.com, and that will send it to where it needs to go in order to get into the queue. Has anybody done this on their own yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
How is that experience?
The EPDA at the present is just about to have our video finished being produced. We've been in partnership with BR, so we haven't actually got the video in our hands yet, but once we do have it, we'll be sending it directly across. But we've been shouting about it on social media all week, so and
Great.
we'll continue to do so.
That's awesome. And then anybody else submit videos yet?
I did.
Yeah?
Yep.
How'd it go?
Easy.
Yeah, that's what somebody else, Jen said it's super easy submission. Yeah, I had the same experience. Oh, look here, two rock stars, Debbie Brooks and Helen Matthews entering the room, folks. This is quite something. I feel like I'm underdressed with Debbie Brooks and Helen Matthews at the same time. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello, it's good to have you. You can look at the YouTube channel now. I don't have it here, but if somebody could put that in the chat, the actual YouTube channel that we're pushing people to, they're already loading it, so you can see what it's looking like, and it looks fabulous. I looked at it last night. There was probably 25 or 30 different things, and it's clips from 60 seconds to 60 minutes. And some of them are in English and some of them are not. That's okay. It's very representative of the world of Parkinson's. And again, this plays into our mantra of think global, act local. So we're very excited about that. I would be interested, I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now for a minute. And I would be interested if anybody else has any other plans on World Parkinson's Day that they'd like to share. We're always looking to steal other people's ideas for the next year. So if you'd like to share, oh, hello, Mark Van Greek, and you got your hand up. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Larry, just a question regarding the type of video, because on the University of Dundee has decided to exclusively go and concentrate on Parkinson's, as you know, when we met last week. And they are fundraising all of the month of June, 30 days. And the idea is to do 30 times 30 things, 30 times 30 stairs or whatever it is. I'm going to be cycling 900 miles, 30 times 30 a mile a day. And I thought, is that something that would be suitable to announce on the 11th, a little video?
Well, I suppose you could. I don't know that there are restrictions. I think it's more about like what is life living with Parkinson's where in Scotland.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
As opposed to, hey, how are you raising money in Scotland? But listen, if it was a retrospective, that'd be different, I think.
That's what I thought. But we can say something about how life is with Parkinson in Scotland. That's great. Thanks.
Right. Does anybody else have any other things that they're working on for World Parkinson's Day? Nobody?
This is more just news for my Canadian friends on the call, but we've secured some good national media on April 11th, so pleased with that. And Larry Linton, who some Avengers will know, Larry and our CEO Karen are going to be on Global National, so we're happy about that, but that's less an initiative and more an announcement.
That's great. Well, exposure is exposure, right? It's good. All right. Any other thoughts on the on how the YouTube channel is working? Is anybody confused? Can I answer your questions? So the YouTube channel, once it gets out there, we're going to keep it live. So that's going to be a resource for people for hopefully years to come. And I'm really excited about that. I mean, I think that what we're going to see is the full range of how Parkinson's impacts people around the world. I know there are videos from Romania and Kenya and Slovenia and Nigeria, Uganda. I mean, it's not just our regular haunts. It's more than that. And so for me, I think that is a huge achievement. We have put in the chat, there's the link to the YouTube channel. So you should copy that. And then maybe you can, link it on your websites and your newsletters and stuff so people can go there. All right. Next up, we want to talk about forming a committee for next year because this is going to come fast again next year. So I would love to have a committee of people here to work on World Parkinson Day 2022. And with that, Helen had a great idea. Helen, why don't you talk about your idea from World Parkinson Day to the start of the WPC and what you had an idea there. Would you like to share that with the group?
Can I blame Polly at this point?
Sure.
So we were having a conversation and we were thinking about, I think this is about people doing something, but also actually trying to evaluate something that's really meaningful to each individual. And so trying to identify some form of activity that people would like to do, but then link to that one symptom or one aspect of their Parkinson's they would like to evaluate during that time, and basically keep a log or a very simple way. We haven't thought it through enough. It was an off-the-cuff discussion, but I think there's something in this of individualizing that measurement, that evaluation, so that it could be that somebody actually wants to measure how their sleep improves by taking exercise, or actually how a little bit of exercise really improves anxiety, or a little bit of fresh air actually makes a really big difference to somebody's digestion, or whatever it might be. But just choosing one aspect and each individual choosing to monitor their own progress and report back on their own progress leading up to WPC. So taking it for 2 months rather than just one.
That's really interesting. So the idea here is that we would put together a committee that would work on sort of the think global, act local for World Parkinson Day or around there, and then help also formulate what that would look like beyond that up until WPC. So if you're eager to do that, you can raise your hand now and I'll put your name down. or you can follow up with an email to me later. But we would like, okay, John Collins, you are in. Who else would like, oh, Helen Matthews, she's in. Do I see a third hand go up? Mark Van Grieken, is that a real hand or okay? You've got it for $400,000. Oh, Maddie,
I would be happy to help.
Is that dyskinesia? I can't tell.
I was just going to say that this is something that, if we look at this longitudinally, something that fits in personal research. We place ourselves monitoring something through a blog or something like that. If I understood you correct, Helen, that'd be quite interesting.
Yeah.
It'd also be interesting if we can get together somehow at the WPC and share those experiences. I think that would be a really kind of interesting way to culminate this sort of event. Because we do learn from each other, you know, when it comes to practical ways of dealing with our Parkinson's disease, that kind of peer-to-peer teaching or sharing of experiences is important.
Kathy's asking, will we be able to use some kind of tracking app? I'm sure we could, or we could probably between now and then create it at the hackathon in January.
And I think it's also something that could be very much represented via the PD Avengers wall. You know, if PD Avengers are doing, providing a way that they can update on their own progress. You know, I'm choosing to monitor this. This is what I'm choosing to monitor it with. This is what I'm choosing to do for the next 2 months. I'll report back, you know, so it becomes almost like a wall of postcards of people doing things, but it's almost like very small individual N of one approaches. But it also, I think, is identifying what's happening to people. If we have a sense of what people are wanting to follow, what's really important to them and their quality of life.
Yeah, Helen, I think that's a really interesting point, and I was quickly sidebar chatting with Tim and decided to share with the whole audience. There's this whole notion of people with Parkinson's taking charge of the research landscape as well, right? So I know this is very micro and you're tracking individual symptoms, but there's probably a way to talk about how the person chooses to monitor the symptom and try to improve the symptom and report on outcomes, and how that could expand much more significantly than just an individual looking at a research question in themselves. I'm forming the thought as I'm speaking it, but I just think there's an interesting tie to putting people with Parkinson's at the center of research as well.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so I've got, right now I have Helen and I have John have volunteered for this committee for 2022. Does anybody else want to raise their hand at this point, or do you want to follow up with an email and say, I'm in?
I have a quick question, if that's okay,
Sure.
I see some opportunity in it, especially with some of the work we're doing with our Healthy Parkinson's Communities initiative. I'm wondering what kind of time or work commitment you're looking for in joining this committee. Anything specific or TBD?
Well, Gabby, whatever you can give, we love.
Okay, yeah, I'd be happy to help it. I just want to consider capacity to make sure that.
I don't think it's going to become anybody's full-time job at this point.
Oh yeah, no, I can't have 2 full-time jobs.
Oh, well,
I probably won't mind making it a part of your job and just extending your hours.
That's great. That's great. Okay, well, that Matt Eagles, hello.
Yeah, can you add my name? And there is method behind my madness, because I'm currently working with a company in the United States called EPAM, and they're doing looking at doing a pose detection and analysis. So basically, it puts loads of spots on your body and can analyze your gait. So I think I'll be able to move it further forward if I get a bit of extra help, because I'm struggling and I need a bit of more expert help from people. So okay. Helen, you might be able to help me, but EPAM, I'd love if you could help me out with this, because it is a massive project.
Matt, why don't we have a chat afterwards? That would be, well,
yeah,
tonight, but in the next few days.
Yes, absolutely. I'll fill you in and give you all information that they've given me, but it is a really, really interesting opportunity.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Sorry, yeah, Larry, this is the World Parkinson's Congress in Barcelona we're talking about.
Well, so between World Parkinson Day and the WPC in Barcelona, yes.
Well, I'm doing some work at the moment. I can't sort of explain it because it's only just in its acorn stage at the moment. We're certainly looking at doing something
Okay, great. Thank you.
with medical students, which would be quite interesting.
Oh, yes, you're medical students. All right. And when does that start? Or has it started?
It's just started.
Just started,
Yeah.
okay. Great. So that's great. We have a little, we've got a small committee that will grow over time as we need more expertise. But thank you for volunteering. We're going to go to, I missed a beat there. The next thing I want to do actually is I want to update you on a couple of advocacy efforts that we've had. The Red Letter campaign, which I think most people were part of, or at least helped promote, which I appreciate. The Red Letter campaign itself is doing pretty well. It has over 25,000 red letters have been sent to the White House so far, which is amazing. Their goal is 100,000 by the end of the month. I know they're running out of money to produce the cards, so if there's anybody that has deep pockets and wants to help support that, they're looking for some support on that end. But you can there's also a way to email people and whatnot. So we're hoping that continues. And again, that's through endingpd.org. These are the doctors who wrote the book Ending Parkinson's Disease, along with the PD Avengers. So this is a campaign to the White House to asking for the Medicare coverage of telemedicine to be permanent. They've just activated it during COVID. To ban Paraquad and trichloroethylene and other toxins that are related to the increased risk of onset of Parkinson's. And they're asking for 10 times the investment in research into Parkinson's disease. Those three things. And then there's the letters to the UN. And so I don't know if everybody saw the letter that or heard me read the letter out loud that I wrote to the UN Secretary General and the UN President of the General Assembly. Currently, despite the fact that Parkinson's is the fastest growing neurological condition in the world, they do not observe World Parkinson Day or World Parkinson Week. And we are asking them very politely and kindly to do so and to add that to their calendar full of all sorts of things that they observe. This just is not one of them. And in addition to that, we were able to ask, I went through our list of different countries and I picked one person from each country and I just reached out to them as PD Avengers and asked them to contact their ambassador, and other people have done it too. So we have had people in the Canary Islands and people in the UK and in Spain and in Italy and in US and Canada and in Romania, and we had people in Uganda and Kenya. And I want to play a video for you of a gentleman in Uganda who I actually talked to after he walked his letter to the UN consulate. And so I'm going to play that for you now. Some of you may have seen this already, but if you haven't, it's pretty cool.
My name is Hannington Kabugo, and I'm the country director of Parkinson's Sibuko Uganda. Parkinson's Sibuko Uganda means Parkinson's is not witchcraft or a curse. That is why we got the name. So the Sibuko is the Luganda word. Luganda is a commonly used language in Uganda, but it's not the national language. The official language is English.
And you were able to help us with our UN ambassador campaign to try to get World Parkinson's Day observed by the United Nations.
Yes, I went there, and I met the country representative, the UN country representative, Miss Rosa Malanga, and told her my story. She was moved, of course, and because people need to know this, that because the people like such a person who hold bigger posts, they will be in bigger offices, have everything good, and they won't know that people in those countries they represent, they are suffering with such diseases. And mostly, like when you look at this, when people get awareness, it helps. Like you have a disease and then your people are running away from you, then that is the more pain you're causing to yourself. At least you should know I have Parkinson's. And then this Parkinson's, I can't afford medication. But at least you can't afford medication, and then people are not giving you food, people are running away from you, people are calling you witch, then that is more pain now. So at least at least people should know that you have Parkinson's, and then yes, this is my disease. At least if I can't afford medication, I'll exercise. Maybe I can be happy for 2 hours, then I can suffer for the other hours. But at least you know the type of disease you have so that you're not called a witch.
So Hannington's mother had Parkinson's disease. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Rachel. Thank you, Kat. His mother had Parkinson's disease. Oh, you still hear that? Okay. The video concluded and it was making noises on my computer. But they didn't know what it was. But she was determined by the village or the city that they lived in to be a witch. So his dad took him and his brother and his sister, and they moved out of the house and left her there alone. And they were not to return. And he would sneak out of the house and go see her. And he was telling me that at one point she was not able to get out of bed. She was immobile, and there was really nobody taking care of her. She was, just living in filth, and she had a pop bottle. The old pop bottles that were like a crown, and she was like going like this behind her. He thought it was like dyskinesia or something, like she was like acting funny. And he goes, "What are you doing?" And she was scraping the dust off the wall so she could have some nourishment to eat. It's unbelievable. I mean, I talked to this guy for about 45 minutes, and he was just an amazing young man. And this is what's happening around the world. And this is why we exist, why PD Avengers exists, is because as bad as we may have it at certain times here where we can't get the brand name of Cinemet because there's a shortage or whatever, they can't get food to their people with Parkinson's because everybody thinks they're a witch. They're using it. So the bravest woman in the village would take a stick and push the food under the door because they didn't want to get too close. So really fascinating. So these are, and he wrote a letter to the UN. So like if that doesn't move them, I don't know what's going to. So hopefully we'll get some good news on that soon. Anybody have any questions or comments about the Red Letter campaign or the UN letter? Anybody here write? Go ahead.
Sorry, it was the EPDA, Russell, our Director General, and myself spoke with the team at Rochester University this week, and we are looking to help put together the European version of the Red Letter. We're going to be looking to do that in May, so that's all in the pipeline. So
you're May. John Collins, Canada's June.
We're hoping so, yeah. I owe Alistair a response today, and we're looking at how we can get involved, and the messages are universal, so we believe we can.
So this is where the Red Letter campaign has legs. This is something that we can pull out for any country or any region, as long as we don't have multiple campaigns going at once, and we can, focus it on, Trudeau, or we can focus it the European Union or whatever we need to do. So I think it's a really good way of capturing the attention and campaigning in a respectful way, but being very clear that there's a lot of people that are concerned about this and that are worried about this, and it's pretty affordable too. So Kat, did you have a question?
And it's also not asking a lot of people. I've distributed and mailed out, with the exception of 3 last ones, 225.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, people don't have to take it's not a huge time commitment to ask somebody to write 2 or 3 sentences. I've had a lot of kids do it. I've sent to friends and family, and I just put stamps on all of them. And it seems to be a really well-received, easy campaign to lobby for. So that's my 2 cents, 225 times.
Yeah. Anybody else?
We did a concerted effort from the UK, which Gary took the lead on.
Yes, that's great. So it was Parkinson's UK and Cure Parkinson's combined. That's great. That's great. And then I know that there was one of the
and also YOPD and and there were
the whole group.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Great. Do you have a copy of that?
Also, so I was just going to say, Helen, it's also something that the group in Scotland is looking at, and we've already got about 50 sent off.
So if you can give me copies of any of the different versions, that'd be great, because I want to put them all on the website. I think that's going to be pretty powerful too on the blog. And then the other thing we got a proclamation from the governor of Texas and the mayor of Beverly Hills. So people are doing their part. So that's great. And let's move on to the next agenda item, which is working groups. Tim Haig, I'm going to give you the floor. We're working on 1 million Avengers.
And it sounds like a daunting task. You know, when you look at having 3,000 on the board at present and you say, how in the world are you going to get to 1 million? One at a time, one at a time. So we need you to stay focused on that as much as you can. Things that would be helpful. As your individual organization signed up, we had talked about adding our logo and a sign up button somewhere in your presence for your constituents. And if you can do that, that would be hugely helpful. Because as we see, every person we have that becomes a PD Avenger adds one more person who can affect one more person. We see what this gentleman in Uganda is doing because of the PD Avengers. We see what Omatola is doing. We see what each of you are doing. Now, if we can take and multiply that times 1 million and have 500,000 people asking the UN to recognize World Parkinson's Day. If we can have 750 million people, 1,000 people asking the WHO to make strides, to make changes. If we can have 1 million people sending out red letters, imagine the impact we'll have. We are seeing a significant impact today with 3,000. Imagine what we can do with 1 million. But it takes us being very deliberate about it. It takes us being very conscious about it. We have to get this on all of your websites. We need it to become a part of your language, a part of your dialogue. It doesn't need to consume everything. It just needs to be there. It just needs to have a quiet, steady presence that you encourage folks to become a PD Avenger. Because look at what we're already doing with 3,000. So I'm super excited about it. My dog is super excited about it, who just wandered into the room. And I'm really, really excited to see what other things come because of this. You know, I look at this gentleman in Uganda, and I mean, my goodness, do we need any other reason to keep doing what we're doing? I mean, that is huge. And just imagine all the lives that we can impact and see changed because of this little thing that we're doing. So I really encourage you, if you have the power to make it happen, to get our logo, a sign up button in the presence of your people, as tastefully and gently and as appropriately as possible, but to please do that. And then together we will end Parkinson's. That is the goal. And John Collins and I, John's probably too kind to say it, but back to the conversation of, you know, the event from next World Parkinson State to Barcelona. Parkinson's Canada is working on an app that I've been helping them with for this very purpose, for tracking exercise and whatnot. So we may have an option there. And Helen, I'm always loath to immediately put myself on another committee, but yes, I will be on this one.
I've got Tim's name down.
I'm on the executive committee. What am I not on?
Your comment.
We just need to keep it light touch, very simple. It'll all be fine.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Fine
With
job.
another committee.
What was that, John?
Fine job, both of you, of holding me accountable. We are signed up for the Red Leather campaign in June, it sounds like, and that app better get delivered because here it has been announced.
Yeah, well, you know, we expect you to deliver on those things too, John Collins.
I'm aware. Thank you.
Yes. You're setting the standard.
Yeah.
Next, we'll pick on Alicia, and then we'll
I knew you were going to say that, Larry. I knew that was coming. And I'm sure you can count on John to hold up his end of the bargain there. Wouldn't doubt him.
All right. And then Sonia, if you would like to talk about our working group around women in PD, that would be awesome.
Sure. I just want to say one thing about Hannington in Uganda. His charity extends beyond what he's doing in terms of he's actually taken in a woman who was as neglected as his own mother into his own home to rehabilitate her. So he's a remarkable example of what can be done if we all get involved and we all, you know, really put action behind our words.
It's his birthday today as well, by the way.
I'll have to send him best wishes. With regards to the women in PD, this is a topic that we've sort of listened to the community concerns and really, I should listen to my own concerns, but that's another story. But we've really decided this is an area of focus that we really need to concentrate on. We're trying to see what's out there in the community already, and really, having looked at research, it's really under-researched, underserved need in the community. And we're trying to look to see what we can help bring together on this topic. The first thing that we've actually actioned is a partnership with Cure Parkinson's to bring a webinar to the community on April 14th. It's 9 a.m. Eastern time. And it's about a conversation, partnering together to bring better treatments and research for women. It's we want the Parkinson's Avengers webinars to be a little bit different. We want it to be sort of a meeting of the minds where we hear about the concerns of the community, what is known, and most importantly, what is not known, what remains to be known, and the gap that in knowledge that we have, and sort of then influence the research. So it's kind of relating an unmet need in the Parkinson's community to those people that can do something about it, and patient involvement in that. So that's our first step. We're also going to be having a second webinar with the North American perspective. I think, Kat, if you can remind me, is that set for April 26th?
26th. It will be at noon Pacific Standard Time, and we'll be partnering with PMD Alliance for that one.
Right. So we're very grateful for the partners that can help us, pull these off. I think it's really important. The other thing that we've working on is identifying support groups for women to discuss their concerns. There's an excellent one called Pd Parkinson. I probably butchered that, but it's in Spain. And they just launched in November of 2020. They started off as a blog, and now they're sort of a resource for women who speak Spanish to provide support and awareness and connect their women with resources. And we also have a new blog initiative by some of our PD Avengers, Rochelle Flanagan, Kat Hill, and Shri Shripati, called the Women's Parkinson's Project, which has launched just a few days ago, and will hopefully also provide meet that unmet need that we have of women in our community.
Yeah, and I think we probably ought to tip the hat to the Parkinson's Foundation, who really started to shine a light on this at the WPC and had a great presentation.
Absolutely. I think they've done a tremendous amount of work in this area, and we hope to also, partner up with them to continue that work. And if there's any organizations on the call today that could please make us aware of their own efforts in this area, I would be most grateful for that, because we really do want to amplify all messages in this topic.
Yeah, that's great.
Do you happen, sorry to interrupt, but do you happen to have a link for that blog that you mentioned? Because we're actually working on a piece for one of our upcoming publications on women in PD. So just wondering if we could have that as a resource.
Sure.
And do you have the link for the upcoming webinar as well, Sonia?
Yes, I'll try and put those both in the chat.
Super. And over the last year or so, I know the Parkinson's Life team did a campaign about Parkinson's and women. There's a whole series of articles on the website that is also would be probably relevant. I can ping them across to you.
Oh,
that would be lovely. Thank you.
Okay.
And there's also a great new podcast that came out this week called When Life Gives You Parkinson's, which is proudly presented by Parkinson Canada, with Sonia and several other women who have given birth while having Parkinson's. And so my wife and I talked to them about that experience, and Sonia kind of helps us break it down. And I think it turned out to be a really informative, enlightening listen. So
very well done.
Oh, thank you. That's a high compliment coming from the woman who makes lemonade. If you haven't checked out Kat's podcast yet, you should. It's called what is the official title?
PD Lemonade.
PD Lemonade. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on iTunes and Spotify.
Excellent.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah. And then the last one I want to talk about is the Paraquad working group, the Paraquad, the tricloethylene and other toxin working group. I'm gathering names for that. We have probably over 40 people that are interested, from people on this call to Ted Thompson and his group, who's working in Washington for the Fox Foundation and others on the UPAC. And then also a lot of people with Parkinson's that are very interested. I'm going to on the reminder today, I sent a link to an article on the intercept.com, which is about it's an investigation into Paraquad. Paraquad is going on trial in Illinois under a class action lawsuit next week, Syngenta, or next month. And so in advance of that, this woman did a tremendous investigative and historic look back on Paraquad, and has a whistleblower, one of the scientists that worked for Syngenta. And it's like she has written notes from the 60s and 70s about the formulas and stuff, and she has all the documentation that she's linked to, and it's really it's a long read, but I tell you, if you want to know about it, if you're interested about it, you should read it. I think it's must read information. I'm interviewing her for my podcast next Thursday because it's such a fascinating topic. I tried to get the whistleblower on too, but he declined to be interviewed. Has anybody read that yet, other than me? Please do. I mean, by the end of it, you'll be like, I thought I knew, but now I know. So, does anybody have any questions? Those are our 3 working groups. So it's recruitment, it's women and PD, and it's the toxins. And the working groups are different than committees. The working groups are more casual in nature. They work a little bit differently. It's just we're working on trying to start the conversations and take and build upon what kind of actions we can take. And so you'll be hearing more on those. And if you're interested in being a part of any of them, just let me know. Or if you have anybody on your team that would, has a particular passion, please feel free to let us know. And we'll add working groups as the interests expand and as we're made aware of stuff. So we certainly, there's no limit to what we could talk about, right? As we motor on, we've got 15 minutes left, so we're right on time. I've got some quick hits. We would be interested in hearing your thoughts on, next year, fingers crossed in Barcelona at the World Parkinson Congress. How should we go about presenting ourselves? Because we don't want to compete with anybody. We don't want to have a booth where we're pulling people aside. Would it help you if we gave you like an image to print out that you could put in a stand, or if we supplied that, or if we made ourselves available to be at your booths every now and again, like different people from the Avengers to talk about it? Should we remain quiet? Like, well, I don't want to remain quiet, but we're here to be loud. But I'd be interested in just hearing how we should go about that, because we want to do it with respect. We don't want to be seen as, in invading space or pulling attention from anybody's booth. And we don't know that we want to have a booth that we man all the time. So any thoughts you have on how we could be present without being overly present, that would be awesome.
So Larry, quick question. Are you thinking, or how are you thinking that the Avengers will have a presence overall at the WPC? So for example, will you be part of poster sessions? I know there, certainly Avengers are on many of the program committees already, but will the name tag be PD Avengers, for folks who are Avengers? And I guess also just thinking about the, the posters and the program and whatnot, if there's anything that you're thinking, there's still a year leading up to the WPC that to work on, to put together, to submit, to really, have a bigger presence there. Yeah,
I mean, I think certainly there are people that are going to be on panels, and I'm talking to Eli about end of day sessions and how we can what we can do with those. There will be some people that have posters, I'm sure. I mean, I think just even from some of these working groups, we could create posters from just the conversations we're having. So, and the name tag PD Avengers, yeah, that we could do that. But I guess that's the conversation I'm starting, because we've just started going, oh, what should we do? We don't want to be too late on being able to do something. So we haven't formalized what it is exactly, what our presence is, but there will be more than a handful of us there, because a lot of us are on the ambassadors, and so we all want to get out of our house.
Right, of course. So the Parkinson's Foundation will obviously have a presence at the WPC, have a booth at the WPC, and I'm happy to take back to our team who's kind of putting the booth together. I imagine if there was a stand up with the Avengers logo, and we had for our team a couple of talking points, I'm sure that would be something that would be easy to add to our booth overall.
Okay. That's good information to have. Yes, Helen. You're muted.
Yeah, I'm on mute, obviously. It would be really interesting to explore, and we're not quite there yet, what the clinical research village is going to look like, and how we can involve the research arm of the event in that in some form, shape, or description. We will probably know more about that in June.
Okay.
By the way, can I just draw everyone's attention to Brian?
To who?
Brian.
What's Brian doing? Is he a Superman?
I often think about PD Avengers, and for those of us that are old enough that remember the movie Cannonball Run, Dom DeLuise played this character, Captain Chaos, and he had a suit on and a cape, and that's how I often think of that.
So are you volunteering to be our mascot at the WPC? Is that what I'm hearing?
Sweet. I don't know if I'm going to be there. I think Parkinson's is going to be cured by then.
Oh, good. You know something I don't know.
But I still wear the cape.
Cool. Anybody else has thoughts?
For a while.
Open to anybody else's thoughts on the WPC and how we can, what you'd be comfortable with, even like the tabletop. Is that a comfortable addition to your booth setup if you're there? Helen, what about Cure Parkinson's? Would that be something you'd be willing to do?
I think we haven't even got as far as what we're going to be doing.
I know, I'm just pushing you.
I know, I can feel it.
The urgency, that's what we do.
Given one of the things that we're still sort of working through is what clinical research village will look like, and kind of that is our big effort at WPC. So it really will come, but there are quite a lot of moving parts, and yeah.
All right, well, just know that we're thinking about it, and we're trying to be, we want to do it correctly. We don't want to misstep. So if you have thoughts on that, we're open to your insight and your opinions and your ideas. So thank you. We are also, just so you know, the last meeting, the assemble, that we invite all PD Avengers, so all 2,700 at that time, were invited. We didn't realize our account maxed out at 100, so we actually maxed out for the first time, which is great. It's a good problem to have. PMD Alliance will host the next one. They have a 300-person cap, and APDA in the Northwest has offered their platform with 500. So we appreciate everybody, coming forward and volunteering their services on that. We are finalizing language for a one-sheet partnership agreement. And as Tim mentioned, as part of that is the reciprocal logo and link on the website. So if you need that logo, just let me know and I'm happy to send it to you. We want to put together a master calendar of like the major events that all of us have. So we're not stepping on each other's toes. And so we're all aware of what everybody's doing. So there's an email address there, and it's in the email that I sent as well, PD Avengers EA1. And if you could send your calendar of major events to that address, that would be very helpful. And just to note, PD Avengers anniversary is July 13th, and World Brain Day this year is July 22nd. And this year it's all about MS. And then if you have talent in-house that you would like to donate hours to the PD Avengers, we will gladly take you up on that. We're in need of video editing and graphic design help and database management and web tasks. And, I can only do 3 jobs in a week. So I'm running out of space. So if you have anybody that you'd like to volunteer for that, that would be amazing. And with that, I'm done with my part of the presentation. Thanks, Lauren. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Put that down. You got that, Tim? Lauren from PD Buzz is volunteering. Yep.
Matt wants to add something, Larry.
I'm sorry?
Matt wants to add something.
Oh, hello, Matt. I thought you just had dyskinesia again. You're muted.
No, I just thought the mascot idea was absolutely fantastic for the World Parkinson's Congress, because they could then visit every single different stall there, and like they could cape. I mean, you could have a Brian in his cape going around and explaining what we're all about. I think the reason I say that is because one of the most powerful patient presentations I've ever seen was a lady called Jen Horonchev, who did a patient presentation in a patient gown on stage. And that is and she's a brilliant speaker anyway, but that is the most powerful thing you can have. So I think having a mascot with PD Avengers walking around, I mean, I've been to the Barcelona, I've spoken there and presented there myself in the 2019, beg your pardon. It's a great place. If you ever want an Avenger walking around as a mascot, it'd make a huge impact.
All right, so if anybody has somebody who knows how to sew capes together and make a mascot suit, that'd be awesome too. We'll take that.
What we could also do, we could invite everyone who has signed up as a PD Avenger to wear a cape. Because if you have a cape on, it then doesn't cover. So, for example, I'm wearing my EPDA t-shirt. People will still see that I am part of the EPDA, but then also that I'm a PD Avenger. And my friend runs a very small children's cancer charity, and they have been producing capes for all their charity events, and they've done really, really well.
That's
because they
amazing.
work, they're lightweight. You can use them whether you're running a marathon or whether you're just sort of fundraising generally at hosting events. So I can definitely get details of
That'd be
how
great,
and what they
Jennifer.
did to get them together. But yeah, it's worked very, very well.
That's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I love that idea.
And whether those capes could be branded to say ban Paraquad, or, you know, so that they're picking up the lobbying themes that we're going for.
Yeah,
Incredibly interesting.
that'd be neat.
We had capes for the Ragbri ride across Iowa 2 years ago. I just happened to have one in my office.
Oh, cool.
So it was a cape and it says pedal for Parkinson's on it. And so we dressed up as Evel Knievel. These were really inexpensive, and we could have it, you know, they're really lightweight. I could speak with the manufacturer and see what is the cost.
That'd be great. Yeah, any information we can get on that'd be awesome.
And I have to say, Davis loved wearing a cape on his bike, and we all, it looked hilarious. But so I'll work with Primal, the manufacturer. There are bike kit manufacturers, and ask them what could they do.
Yeah.
How cheap could they get them done for us?
That'd
And
be
then
amazing.
yeah, we could, if I can get them at a pretty good price. I sort of need to know how many,
Yeah.
getting over to Barcelona, you know, just,
Brian, look what you've started. It's fantastic.
Brian, it's amazing. See, this is why we get you all together. Everybody has a cape guy. Good comment, John.
Back when I was working, I used to accuse myself of being an instigator, and my boss told me I was an initiator. I don't know what the difference is.
All right, with that, who knew this was going to turn into a cape discussion? I did not see that coming. I got to be honest with you. But that is amazing. This is why you guys are part of this call. Who has any other parting comments or questions or cape issues?
Well, I was just wondering whether it's partly about campaign. This is particularly about campaigning side, isn't it? Awareness rate in advance of the World Parkinson Congress. So could we check if there's any PD Avengers going to any event, research event, fundraising event, and begin to wear this? So there's always someone from us at events that are held by Parkinson's UK, by Q Parkinson's, you name it, local events. If we find out whether this is a PD Avenger, then let one of us turn up in the cape or in the gear.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it doesn't have to just be for WPC, but that would be remarkable. All right. Well, thank you again for your time. I know your time is super valuable. And I really appreciate all that you are doing. I see little blurbs pushing all the agenda items, the red letter campaign and the UN letter, and like, thank you so much. You're making a difference, we're making a difference, and together we will end Parkinson's. Have a great day.